Today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful ideas in all of finance. It's something that honestly can completely change your life once you really get it. I'm talking about compound interest. So let's break down how this thing actually works. It's a concept so powerful, it's been called the eighth wonder of the world. Now, people can argue about whether Einstein actually said this, but it doesn't really matter. The idea behind the quote is completely true. It points to this huge divide. You're either making compound interest work for you, or chances are you're paying it to someone else.
Okay, so we've got this eighth wonder of the world. But what is it, really? How does this financial magic trick actually work? Well, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you, step by step, just how simple it can be.
To really wrap your head around this, let's use a simple picture. Forget the math for just a second. I want you to think about it like planting a single tiny seed and having the patience to watch it grow into an entire forest.
So here's the textbook definition, but let's make it easy. Compound interest is just interest that you earn on your interest. That's it. See, with simple interest, you only ever earn money on your initial investment. But with compounding, your earnings start to generate their own earnings. And that, right there, is the whole game. It's the point where your money officially starts working for you.
So let's go back to our little forest analogy. Everything has to start somewhere, right? It all begins with that one seed. And that seed, well, that's your first investment. Your principal. It doesn't have to be a lot of money, not at all. It's just the starting point. And with a little bit of time, that seed starts to sprout, and pretty soon, you've got a small tree. Financially speaking, this is your investment earning its first bit of interest. It's a great start for sure, but the real power, oh, it hasn't even kicked in yet. Okay, but this is where the magic happens. That one tree, it starts dropping its own seeds. And those seeds, they start growing into new trees. This is that interest on interest idea we were just talking about brought to life. The growth you already have is now creating more growth, all on its own. And if you just let it run, if you let this process happen over years and years without getting in the way, you end up with a whole forest. All of it springing from that one single seed you planted way back when. That is the incredible exponential power of compounding. All right, so the seed to forest idea makes sense, right? Now let's put some real numbers to it. And for this, think of a tiny snowball at the top of a really long hill. When you first push it, it barely picks up any snow. But as it rolls, it gets bigger. And the bigger it gets, the more snow it picks up with every single turn, just moving faster and faster. Let's make this super clear. Imagine you invest $1,000 and you get a 10% return each year. So after year one, you've made $100. Your new total is $1,100. Easy enough. But in year two, you earn 10% on the new total, so you make $110. Now you're at $1,210. So in year three, you earn 10% of that, which is $121. Do you see what's happening? The amount you earn each year keeps getting bigger because the snowball is growing. That's compounding in action. Okay, this next part is maybe the most important thing you'll hear in this entire explainer. Because the secret ingredient to all of this, it isn't having a lot of money to start with. It's giving your money a lot of time. And this is where the results go from pretty good to absolutely life-changing. Just look at these numbers for a sec. Let's say you make a one-time investment of $10,000, and it grows at 8% a year. After 10 years, it's more than doubled. Not bad at all. But then, look at the next 10 years. It more than doubles again. Now here's the amazing part. In the 10 years after that, from year 20 to year 30, that money grows by over $54,000. So in that one decade, you earn more than you did in the first 20 years combined. That's the key. The real explosive growth happens later on. Okay, that was a one-time investment, but what if you keep adding to it? This is where things get truly mind-blowing. Let's say you invest just $500 a month, earning that same 8%. In 10 years, you've got about 90 grand. In 20 years, you're looking at around $300,000. That's amazing. But if you just keep going for 40 years, that portfolio swells to over $1.5 million. Now think about that. The first 20 years got you to $300,000. The next 20 years added another $1.2 million. That's the power of the snowball when it gets really, really big. So what's the big lesson from all of this? It's simple, but it is everything. Start early. That first decade you're invested is irreplaceable. It's the fuel for all that crazy growth that happens down the line. If you start at 35 instead of 25, you've lost 10 years of that critical rocket fuel. You can try to catch up by investing more money, but you can never, ever buy that time back.
So when you put it all together, you start to realize something pretty amazing. When it comes to building real wealth, your most valuable asset, it isn't a huge paycheck or some lucky stock tip. No, it's actually something that every single one of us has.
So let's just boil it down to the three big rules here. First, the absolute engine of compounding is time. The more of it you have, the more powerful the effect. Second, you don't need to be rich to start. Small, regular investments are the key. And finally, you just have to be patient. You have to let the snowball roll and just get out of its way. Look, just understanding this concept is a huge first step towards building real financial security. It's proof that with a little patience and consistency, something extraordinary is possible for almost anyone. And that brings us to the last question. That first investment, that first seed, it's the most important one you'll ever plant. So when will you plant yours?